Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The News in Reverse. We're going to be looking at, I'm going to figure out how to word it, but something in relation to the Epstein decision that's happening tomorrow. Today is the 17th, tomorrow is the 18th when they're having the meeting. Okay, so I am going to hopefully remember to insert a clip here, and it's going to be, I essentially asked ChatGPT, explain to me like I'm 5, what's happening tomorrow. So I'm going to insert that here, and then we're going to start the reading. Okay, so if you live in the USA, I'm going to need you to stop, drop, and not roll because you need to hear what I'm about to say. I'm very big on understanding something from a very simple POV. Literally, even with my 2 best friends, I'll say, explain that to me like I'm 5, because I want to understand the basic concept of it. I asked ChatGPT to explain what is happening tomorrow with the Epstein release as if I'm 5. You need to hear this. Here's what's happening tomorrow, November 18th. Imagine there is a giant locked treasure box. Inside the box are papers about Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of grown-ups want to know what's inside the box because it might show who helped him, who knew him, or who should have stopped him. For years, people have been saying the same thing. Open the box. Tell the truth. Stop hiding things. The problem is that the box belongs to the government. They have keys, and they have rules about when they can open it, and some people in the government have not wanted to open it. Now a bunch of people in Congress wrote a new rule called the Epstein Files Transparency Act. This new rule basically says, hey, government, stop keeping this box locked. You have to open it. They already got enough signatures to force Congress to vote on this rule no matter what. That part's already done. And then something kind of surprising happened. Trump, who had been saying no, suddenly changed his mind and said, actually, yes, open the box. Then the Speaker of the House said the same thing and told everyone that there's nothing to hide, open the box. So tomorrow, November 18th, Congress is getting together to talk about opening the box. They might vote on it. They might argue about it. They might move it to the next step. Either way, the whole point of the meeting is one thing. Should we open this box or not? Should the public finally see what's inside? If they vote yes, then the law goes to the Senate next. And if enough people vote yes there too, then the rule becomes real. Then the government only has 30 days to open the box and show everybody what's inside, except things that would hurt the victims. If they vote no, then the box stays locked. So the short version tomorrow is basically grown-ups arguing over a locked box full of secrets and deciding whether the world gets to look inside. Then I said, explain to me like I'm 5 whether or not it's legal to keep this from the people that the government is supposedly working for. Picture this like a really big house with a lot of rooms. You live in the house. The government is like the grown-ups who are supposed to take care of the house and keep it safe for everyone. Now imagine there's a scary room in the house where something bad happened. The grown-ups put all the papers about what happened in that room. The people who live in the house, like you, want to know what's inside the room because it affects everyone's safety. Here's the simple part. Sometimes the grown-ups are allowed to keep certain things hidden for a little while, not because they want to hide from you forever, but because they want to say things like, we need to protect the kids who got hurt, we need to protect witnesses, we need to keep investigations safe, and we need to follow the rules of the house. These are the type of reasons they give, but here's the other part. The people who live in the house are the real bosses of the grown-ups. So the grown-ups are not supposed to keep secrets forever, and they are not allowed to hide things just to protect themselves and their friends. That part would be wrong and not allowed. So it is legal, kind of yes. So is it legal, kind of yes, and kind of no? Yes, it's legal for the government to keep certain information hidden for a while if it protects victims and helps police do their job. No, it is not legal for the government to hide things forever or hide things because it makes powerful people look bad. That's why Congress is involved right now. Congress is like the group of older kids who say, okay, enough. You have to open the room now. We need to see what happened. So the simple answer is this: the government can keep things secret for a short time for safety. The government cannot keep things secret forever to protect themselves. And the people in charge of the government are supposed to be us, not them. Explain to me, like I'm 5, how the government refers to in the Constitution as being working for the people. Imagine you and your friends build a giant tree house. You all get together and say we should pick some kids to help run the tree house. They can help keep it safe, make rules, and solve problems. So you choose a few kids to be the helpers. Those helpers are not the bosses. They do not own the tree house. They do not get to act like it is theirs. They're supposed to listen to everyone and make choices that keep the whole group safe and happy. That's exactly how the government is supposed to work. The people are the treehouse owners. The government is the helpers the people picked. That's why the government says we work for the people, meaning the people built the country. The people choose the leaders. The people can fire the leaders. The people decide the rules by voting. The power comes from the people, not the leaders. So when the government says they work for the people, they mean you gave us the job, as in you, the people, gave them, the government, the job. You are the bosses, you, the people. We, the government, are supposed to protect you, listen to you, and make choices that help you. Which would probably be opening the box. And if we don't, you get to replace us. Just like in the treehouse. You don't work for the helpers. The helpers work for you. Let's remember that for tomorrow. Okay, so now deck 1, deck 2, deck 3, 6. How many cards? 2 cards for the how to word the topic of the reading. Lion's Den and Undercover in reverse. Uncovering the Lion's Den. Uncovering the Lion's Den. Huh. Okay. Uncovering. I'm trying to think of how I want to word that. No, I just want to take it directly. We are about to... It's like everything is put in place on center stage, and they're about to pull the curtains. And when they pull the curtains, what we see is Daniel in the Lion's Den scene playing out. They want us to see that. They're about to draw the curtains so that we can see that. I'm just going to keep these up on my little platform here so remember. Okay, input stream. Echoes. What's the theme anchor? What is our theme anchor? Guilty knowledge, intercepted call in reverse. A known call of guilty knowledge. Our theme anchor, what's anchoring this in? guilty call. They're a guilty call. So Daniel in the lion's den, we're about to witness the lion's attack. Archive room, attack with the documents. This is too bright. Hold on. That's better. It's kind of better, kind of not. Why can you not really see that? I can't really see. You can't really see, but the lions are attacking. You can't really see, but the lions are attacking using the archives, using the past. What's that mean? I said something in the previous reading about someone doesn't want to just prove that there's dirt on someone from the past. Someone behind the scenes wants to prove that there's dirt on someone from the past and they're still participating in some kind of bad behavior, irregardless of knowing the consequences or like the heightened level of betrayal to the country under certain circumstances. Malicious compliance. Okay. I'm hearing you had a duty. Like after tomorrow, it's like the crowd is chanting, you had a duty. Why? Suspicious activity. In disguise, disguising suspicious activity. You had a duty. Okay. So something about after tomorrow happens. The crowd, the people are looking at someone saying, you knew that and you had a duty under these specific circumstances to do something different, and your refusal to do something different, it doesn't matter if you did anything, but your refusal to do something different in this particular situation is enough. Because of the way that you tried to disguise suspicious activity. It's the betrayal in the disguise of something. Okay, let's go to the next one. I try to be very specific about which ones I leave on the front so that if I look at it very closely, I can remember what we were talking about. So I have malicious compliance, guilty knowledge, disguise, and suspicious activity. Good enough. Okay. Whispers. I just let out like a really long sigh. What's 17th? Hold on a second. Sigh. That made me think Thanksgiving, because like, okay, we're finally, like, this is where my brain went with my sigh. When you're doing Thanksgiving and you're all getting everything ready and then you finally sit down at the table and you're like, that's what that sigh felt like to me. So they're about to serve the meal. The appetizer, I think is Charlie Kirk. For this particular course, like course of meals. I feel like the appetizer was Charlie Kirk. So that set up for our response when it comes to whatever meal we're about to be served. So I think that the meal has something to do with someone's complete ending. I want to say before Thanksgiving. It's almost like they need to be the topic of discussion at people's Thanksgiving. And not that they're not going to be already, but like we're about to do our big one. Did I do this yet? No. Did I roll this yet? I don't think I did. I just chose that. Okay. It came out the same anyway. Leak marker. So it was meant to be the leak because it was number 7. And then I picked it up and I rolled it and I got a 7 again. Within 2 weeks. So that would be the first. Within 2 weeks would be by December 1st. So November. So by December 1st, someone real big gets eaten by the lions in the den. Because we're supposed to see the power of the lions. They want to put the lions on display, hypothetically, in this thing. So it was 7 and then 7 again. This was meant to be the leak. Everything that has been happening has been preparing for what I'm talking, like what this is referring to. The big person going down. Everything's been building for that because there's one leak in particular that needed to come out so that it was the feather that tipped the scales of justice. And that was that last leak about Trump that happened right before this meeting. It's almost like the energy of you almost got away with it, but then last minute that. Wait, I already did that. Money, science experiment, on the money. So yes, also money, paid a lot of money to put this show into production. Science experiment. We tested the hypothesis with the appetizer. How will they take this? We make adjustments and now we're ready for the show. Show me the show. Show me the title of the show. Show me the title of the entree that we're about to be served. Vacation Beach Abroad. Someone's getting removed from the big stage. Let's keep going. Okay, so psych profile. Do I want to take this as the us or as the person getting removed? Us even, person getting removed odd. Us even. Okay, so the psych profile of us. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tarot, interesting. Okay. Shadow motive. Oh, what is their shadow motive for us? Okay, that makes sense. What's their shadow motive for us? Dependence, strong dependency going forward. We need you to need us. We need to create a crisis, so you need us. Yeah, 4 of Swords, 5 of Wands, Justice, the Devil. Ooh. It's giving spiritual warfare playing out on a world stage. And they need us to need them, so they're going to force a crisis so they can fix their own they can come in and fix the problem of their own creation in a way that makes it look like we couldn't have fixed it, but like we also didn't cause it, so allegedly. Witness interface. So what are we going to be seeing? Wait, no, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, this one. What are we going to be seeing? Proof cross. I'm going to literally make a cross with the cards. Actually, I'm going to make an X with the cards. I guess it's a square, but like, think of it like an X. Proof cross. Maybe like a diamond. Proof cross. What proof are we going to see that this is the scene that I'm referring to that's playing out on the world stage? Biology, chemistry, scientific in reverse. It's giving like malware being removed from the collective, like the collective witnessing what's meant to look like malware being removed, but it's an illusion. Natural disaster unavoidable in reverse. Man-made disaster. A man-made disaster causing a man-made disaster triggering us to see an act of what would look like malware being removed from the stage. Like if a person was malware, they're being removed. We're seeing it because a man-made disaster triggers it. Acting trauma. Stage, the stage, the stage. 2 wings of the same bird. People that look like enemies actually working together behind the scenes. What's the last card? Assassination. Murder for hire. That drawing that I did, 1, 2, 3 on one side, 7 on the other. I said one of the I said number 3 is able to get taken out by a document dump because they're a higher number. There's 3 things on them, like each side's confident they can shut them up or ruin their credibility in a document dump. But then that number 2, I think that number 2 has also something significant on number 1. And because 2 has something significant enough on number 1, that person needs to be taken out of the picture entirely so that number 1 can conversate with number 7 without worrying about 2 or 3 jeopardizing anything. This is number 2 going away. Allegedly, by the end of the year. Maybe it's number 3. Maybe I have them backwards. But either someone huge is going to pass. And huge, I mean like occupies space on the news where people would see them, like a big space. That person is going to pass by the end of the year, allegedly, my opinion. And if you want to yell at me for that, just wait till the end of the year. See if I'm right first. Okay, let's see. The influence field. Echoes. The control stream. So what kind of control is this event meant to put us under? I guess. How is how to word that? Break-in protocol. The other card's still. Oh dear God. Radio silence. Shadow figure in reverse. Protected witness in reverse. Prearranged meeting in reverse. Pinned location in reverse. Camera footage. Silent alarm. Break-in protocol. Allegedly, my opinion, not facts. Do I want to say by the end of November? I really want to say by the end of November, but I am not 100% confident in that. It's either the end of November or the end of December. I feel right around Thanksgiving, to be honest. I feel right around Thanksgiving. Okay. There's allegedly, my opinion, no facts. There's going to be a moment that hits the USA where you're going to be able to hear a pin drop when the news is said out loud for the first time. This is something that a lot of other things were leading up to, and once it happens and the way in which it happens, you'll be able to look back and see that, like what I mean by that. I have to cough. Hold on one second. I'm going to pause this so I'm not coughing at you. It's like when someone that's been waiting in the shadows finally gets the right pieces in place so they can step forward. Because of something crazy happening. In a way where it looks like they were sabotaged, or like it has the signature of something clearly done on purpose, because of the timing, because of the mannerism, because of the method, and because of the specific, how do I say that? Because of the specific balls that were dropped that allowed for this thing to happen. Prearranged meeting, pinned location in reverse, is so number 1 and number 7 can have that meeting unseen, off grid. No one can know, no one can jeopardize. It's like a signing of something. But I'm being shown it as like a fusion, like a fusion of something. Like when you melt metal or something. It's kind of giving me a headache, to be honest with you. Everyone sees footage. There needs to be footage of this so that it's like, oh, well, you saw it. Like it's almost kind of to the point of something where it's like, you're giving us this footage, especially because it was the opposite for Charlie Kirk. Like where was the blood? Stuff like that. Like this time it's like they do it right. They do the scene right. I don't know. That's allegedly. Silent alarm. Silent alarm is giving bank robber. Like when the bank robber comes in and they push that little button and like it locks all the doors and the windows and stuff, and now everyone's locked in the bank together, like the bank tellers, the bank customers, and the robbers. Like because the alarm was pushed, now we're all in here together and everyone's just kind of standing there like, are they gonna get us or not? Like that moment is about to unfold. I really want to say by the end of November. And break in protocol, I don't know. Is there like a baby version of martial law or something? That's what I'm allegedly getting. It's like when the shadow comes into the light because they curated a reason to. Allegedly. Intent core. Echoes. The gain motive. What do they hope to gain from this? Accomplice, burned bridge, and access denied. Clarify accomplice. Fractured alliance in reverse. Well, yeah, that would be literally clarifying accomplice. I kind of meant like details of accomplice, not literal. Plea bargain. Huh. Alliance, plea bargain. If you can't beat them, join them. Burned bridge. If they're accomplices and that is burned bridge the illusion? Like, we don't work together, but like really we do. Key omission in reverse, yes. So not omitting that, saying that. Saying the quiet part. The shadow is coming into the light to say the quiet part out loud. And that means it's access denied to what? Access denied to clear motive in reverse, to unclear motive. Oh my goodness. Sorry, this is like giving me a huge headache. Okay. Gain motive. Sorry if I just yelled. Gain motive. Sorry if I just yelled. They're gonna say the quiet part out loud. Okay. Here's my prediction. I'm just gonna say it because they're saying the quiet part out loud. Maybe I should just say the quiet part out loud, you know? Oh boy. I think that they're going to release or vote to release the Epstein files, or somehow it goes through. Maybe it goes to a Trump decision and he puts it through in order like that would be part of something, would be a show, I guess. But like either way, I feel like it's going to go through and then they have 30 days, which puts us right almost at the end of the year, almost at Christmas time. I think they vote for that to go through, and that kickstarts a series of events where there's a major death, there's a major document dump, and then there's something like a martial law type situation where they seize control for some crisis reason. The crisis reason is whoever number 2 is that goes bye-bye, and a result of something related to the document dump. They use that to trigger a control grab, and under the control grab, now they can't release the Epstein documents, even though they voted to release them, because the situation has changed and now it's national security, hence protecting all the big important people behind the scenes, but also still being able to take the other ones down that are going down in order to get us to pay attention to the show. Allegedly. Secret code, adrenaline rush, the Fool card. What was done in secret is about to be shown to us as eyewitness in reverse. It's not. They vote to release it and it doesn't come out. They vote to release it and then they cause chaos so it doesn't actually come out. Or so that when it does, they have control over it, but we don't get all of it, even though they vote to give it to us because of something that they cause after that vote goes through. Allegedly. Okay. Location grid. Containment zone. How are they going to contain the radius of the damage caused by whoever it is that goes bye-bye, dies? Is that how to, yeah. Audio recording in reverse, that radio silence card. The moment that you could hear a pin drop in the US. The moment you could hear a pin drop. Why does that feel like it has a historical reference? Hang on. Is there a moment in history where something in the USA is referenced as being able to hear a pin drop? Or I guess maybe not just USA, anywhere. Is there anywhere in history where the moment is defined as you were able to hear a pin drop? Let's see. Yeah, totally. Lincoln assassination announcement. When news spread that he had been shot, newspapers and witnesses described public gatherings as so silent you could hear a pin drop. People were stunned, scared, and holding their breath. The Hindenburg disaster radio broadcast. But it's reversed. During the famous Oh the Humanity broadcast, there was a moment of silence after the crash when the reporter and the crowd fell completely quiet. People later described it as pin drop moment of shock. The Hindenburg disaster radio broadcast. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna copy that. Hold on. Okay. JFK assassination announcement. So that was 1963. Lincoln was 1865. Where's my other? Hold on a second. Can't math calculator. 1937. No. 1963 minus 1865. 98-year difference. 1963 plus 98-year difference is 2061. So none of that math fits. Okay. JFK assassination announcement, 1963. In classrooms across America, teachers and students described the silence after the announcement as so absolute that a pin could drop and echo. Drop and echo. It's related to that. This one doesn't have that. The Challenger explosion in 1986. During the live broadcast, thousands of school children and adults watching described the silence after the explosion as a pin drop moment because nobody could process what they were seeing. Nelson Mandela's sentencing. When he received a life sentence, some reporters described the courtroom as so still that you could hear a pin drop. The fall of the Berlin Wall announcement. The moon landing broadcast. More info. 1 second. Oh. Huh. When's the 22nd? The 22nd is Saturday. The 22nd is Saturday. Hold on. Sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. This is kind of how my brain works. And now I'm just showing you more. So anyways, minus 1963. 62 years. It's about to be the 62nd anniversary of that. Okay. So JFK assassination was November 22nd, 1963. That anniversary is this Saturday, which is why it's sticking out to me. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's 5 days after. 5 would represent change. Whatever change is coming happens about 5 days after the meeting, court appearance tomorrow, whatever you call it. November 22nd, 1963, people were going about a normal day. Kids were in school, adults were at work. Everything was regular and ordinary. Then the news broke. Teachers were called into hallways by principals who were whispering with pale faces. Radios were turned on. TV stations suddenly cut their programs. Within minutes, almost the entire country was hearing the same thing. The president has been shot. And then shortly after, the president is dead. This is the part people describe with the pin drop silence. In classrooms, teachers walked in with tears in their eyes. Some were shaking. Many of them didn't even speak at first. They just turned on the classroom radio. Kids didn't understand, but they could feel something was wrong. It wasn't normal sadness, it was shock. Witnesses say you could hear chairs creak when someone shifted. You could hear someone swallow. You could literally hear a pencil roll off a desk. It was that quiet. In newsrooms, journalists stopped typing. Phones stopped ringing. Even the normal chaos of a newsroom froze. People stood still. Some had their hands over their mouths. Others just stared at the radio speaker like the world had suddenly slowed down. Stores went quiet. Cashiers stopped scanning items. People put down what they were holding and stared at the nearest TV or radio. Cars pulled over. Drivers got out and stood by their doors to listen. People described the silence as unnatural, like the air itself tightened, like the world forgot to breathe. When Walter Cronkite announced it on the TV, he removed his glasses, his voice cracked, he swallowed hard. He looked down so the camera wouldn't show his eyes watering. Millions watched him and millions sat in silence. Witnesses said you could have dropped a pin in any living room in America and everyone would have heard it. Why was it so silent? JFK was young, charismatic, and represented hope for a lot of people. Nobody expected a president to be murdered in broad daylight. It felt unreal and terrifying, like the world suddenly wasn't safe anymore. When something that big happens, people don't talk, they freeze. Their brains stop asking questions. They just sit in the moment because they cannot make sense of it yet. This is why the pin drop phrase is tied to JFK more strongly than almost any other event. I knew there had to be. I knew I felt drawn to that one for a reason. Because the silence wasn't just in one room, it was in the entire country at the same time. Walter Cronkite, name meaning. Oh. Walter means ruler of the army or commander of warriors, and Cronkite means illness or weakness. When you put the two together, it reads the strong leader with a name known for witnessing and reporting human vulnerability. The strong leader with a name known for witnessing and reporting human vulnerability. Weakness or illness, commander of the warriors. That event was setting up for this one. That event was setting the precedent, setting the stage for this, whatever we're about to see. We are about to experience... Oh, I have cards here. Oh, because I did this and then I started on the whole tangent. Oh, what are these cards going to be? We're about to witness that pin drop moment, and it's going to kickstart everything that they're trying to do. Trigger event. Border crossing in reverse. The bank shutting down with everyone inside because of the trigger event. Final warning. Oh my God. You can call me crazy if you want. I really don't care. I truly believe we are about to witness God's last Trump event, where it is essentially God being like, do you really not see what's going on here? By making it so obvious by something that is so clearly staged perfectly. You don't have to agree with me. These are my opinions. Cryptic message in reverse by something that's so clear you can't not see it for what it is. I don't even know what to put up top here. Wait, did I take the cards that were here? What was supposed to be up here? Because there was something. I think it was these. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was these. My stomach is going crazy right now. Okay. I'm going to go eat and then I'm going to finish this. I'll be right back. Be right back. Okay. Make sure my mic is good. Okay. Last box here. Reconstruct mode. 6. So still with echoes. Scene replay. In what ways is what we are about to see play out similar to the JFK assassination? Obstruction, interference, hidden passage, hidden agenda. How did the JFK assassination happen? He was riding in a car in Dallas. It was a long, open-top limo. He was sitting next to his wife. Texas governor and his wife were sitting in front of them. Crowds were lined up along the street, waving and cheering. It was supposed to be a friendly parade. And I said something in one of my previous news in reverse about a parade or an outside event where people are trapped outside in a crowd. The car turned onto a street called Dealey Plaza. It was a small area with tall buildings around it. One of those buildings was the Texas School Book Depository. Like returning books to a library reference. Library of Souls reference. Anyway, as the car turns slowly toward the corner and drove forward, it became an open, clear target. As the car slowly turned the corner and drove forward, it became an open, clear target. They're putting someone in a position to be a sitting duck. They're putting together an act for the world stage in which it's going to look like someone was a sitting duck when they met their demise. Allegedly. Before the end of the year. I really want to say before the end of November, but it could be into December. But something had, like, if this isn't the big thing by the end of November, then you know when you're at a fancy restaurant and they give you that little, I forget what it's called, but it's meant to clear your palate in between meals. If the big event doesn't happen by the end of November, then some palate cleaner thing comes. Like to wipe the slate clean and prepare us to taste the full entree. I don't really like the way I worded that, but then shots were fired. Suddenly, loud cracks echoed through the plaza. People didn't even know they were gunshots at first. Then everything happened fast. The Warren Commission says 3 shots were fired. 1 missed, 1 hit the governor, and 1 hit Kennedy in the head. The image from the drawing, number 1, number 2, and number 3. Huh. Number 7. I'm almost wondering if in that drawing that I did, I'm almost wondering if there's another individual besides number 1, number 2, number 3. I'm wondering if the shadow that steps forward isn't even one of those numbers. But 3 main players are getting taken down. 1 through a document dump, 1 through a death, and 1 through... one missed. So maybe 1 isn't. Maybe 2 are getting taken down. The 3rd one doesn't need to get taken down. Maybe they flipped and they're the key to how the shadow can finally go against the number 7. Shh. People screamed. Secret Service agents jumped in the air. The driver sped towards the nearest hospital. Lee Harvey Oswald was accused. Police said the shooter was Lee Harvey Oswald, a former Marine who worked in that building. They said he hid on the 6th floor, used a rifle, shot from the window, and then ran. He was arrested that same day. I don't have this on that. Hold on. Name, meaning. Lee means meadow or clearing. Harvey means battle-worthy or strong in battle. And Oswald means divine power or God's rule. Clearing the battle for God's rule. Huh. That event set up for this one, and in that one, the shot was fired by someone that was clearing the battlefield for God's rule. And now it's coming full circle. They're setting up for the fall of church and state. Or the... Is fall maybe... Separate? To join? To consolidate church and state? They're setting up to consolidate church and state by two main people falling, one main change of something in the leadership, the shadow stepping into the light, and the shadow has already formed a alliance with number 7, that outside force, by the time it steps forward or as it steps forward. This is full circle for everything that's been planned since that assassination back then. And if you look at what happens, you'll see pieces of different events in this that have set up for it. They need someone to fall so that they can have a power grab, not release what they said they were going to release to still protect certain people that need to be upheld in their power, because they were the ones that are allowing for this shift to happen. They were the insiders that were allowing for the shift to happen. So it's like they are protected from this because of that. So it looks like we're going to get things, and then we don't end up getting them because they kickstart something with a trigger event that makes the shadow come into the light, and things change in a real big way, allegedly. Someone major is about to be removed from the world stage, and it is going to be a night and day difference when we all wake up the next morning after that happens. Allegedly. Hold on. He was accused, arrested that same day. JFK was taken to Parkland Hospital. Why does that sound... I knew it. The Parkland school shooting happened on February 14th, 2018 in Parkland, Florida. That was Nicholas Cruz. Went in and opened fire on 17 people. 17 more were injured. Today's the 17th. One of the deadliest school shootings in U.S. history. Took an Uber, pulled a fire alarm so the students would be in the hallway. Took an Uber. Someone in power takes a ride, obviously they always do, but gets driven to some kind of event, pulled a fire alarm so the students would be in the hallways. They need everybody to see what's about to happen. They need people to literally be gathered there, similarly to the Charlie Kirk thing, so that people witness whatever this is. Then he started shooting at students and teachers were trying to evacuate. That's the event that I talked about in the other news in reverse reading where people are trapped in a crowd outside. This has to be Thanksgiving. This has to be related to Thanksgiving. I guess it can be Christmas, but I really feel like it's Thanksgiving. The attack lasted only a few minutes. He dropped his gun and vest, left the school by mixing in with the fleeing students, and was arrested later that day. Arrested later that day, same as the JFK assassination. After the shooting, a few big things happened. The students spoke out and became national voices calling for changes to gun laws. They organized marches, interviews, and congressional talks. We're working it backwards. Because everyone right now is in an uproar about changes needed because of Epstein and everything happening there. This happened. The uproar was afterwards this time. We're already in the uproar, and then it happens. We're working it backwards. That might not make sense to everybody, but if you understand what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying. The shooter was charged. He eventually pled guilty. In 2022, he was sentenced to life in prison without parole. The police response was heavily criticized. That's what I said in the other reading, that the response is going to be criticized about whatever this large group of people getting trapped outside thing was in the previous reading. Some officers stayed outside the building instead of entering immediately, and this became a major controversy and led to legal cases and national debates. Why people still talk about it? Because it was preventable, because warning signs existed, because the students who survived became activists, because it sparked huge debates about school safety, guns, mental health, and law enforcement. It's the same energy. It was preventable. Everything happening right now, Epstein saga, preventable. Warning signs existed. Warning signs existed. The survivors became activists. The survivors for Epstein literally just released the document or the documentary commercial, whatever that is, the where they're talking. I think that was yesterday they released that, the day before the 17th. The response has been heavily criticized. It's sparking debates about all this different stuff. Okay, he was taken to Parkland. Doctors tried to save him, but the head wound was too severe. At 1 p.m., he was announced dead. Jackie was still wearing the pink suit covered in blood. She refused to change because she wanted the world to see what happened. That's the Charlie Kirk reference. They're serving us the same energy, but mixing it. You always ask me to say more and to be more transparent, and now I'm being more transparent. So if it's confusing people, go yell at the people that asked me to be more transparent. This is what happens inside my head as I'm doing readings. I just don't usually say it all. Oswald was killed before the trial. 2 days later, while being moved by police, he was shot on live TV by a nightclub owner named Jack Ruby. I have Ruby on my hand. This meant Oswald was never put on trial, never questioned in court, and never given a full explanation. Jack means God is gracious or the favored one, and ruby means precious or deep fire or red stone. Red stone. Red and blue, two wings of the same bird. God is gracious. God is setting the stage for them to show you clear as day that the government is two wings of the same bird. And God is showing you that by whatever event is about to unfold, either by the end of November or it's being set up for by the end of November and unfolds in December, but it's definitely by the end of the year. It happens with a 2025 date on it, where someone major in the political scheme of the US has a very public death. Charlie Kirk set up for this, and you're going to see a lot of JFK assassination vibes in this. You'll see how whatever this is essentially, if JFK is on one side of the funnel, it went through the funnel and it's coming out the other end. So it's like a mirrored reversal version of it. You'll see how they set up to make it look like they were going to run Erica Kirk, knowing that they weren't, but in order to get us to accept who they actually are going to run. There's going to be a moment that the entire world stops and you can hear a pin drop, and this moment is going to change everything going forward. This is the moment that 1, 2, and 3 on my previous drawing are no longer a threat, and the actual shadow from the right and the shadow from the left can join together and meet. This changes something structurally in the government of the United States permanently. What somebody said something one time, it was like, remember the something of, I think it was November. What is that? What's that quote? What's that quote from? One second. My head. Oh, this reading is like, remember the 5th of November. My trash can just like blew. Remember the 5th of November, trash can blow. Remember the trash blew out. It's an old English rhyme about the gunpowder plot of 1605, when a man named Guy Fawkes tried to blow up the British Parliament. It's about rebellion, corruption, government secrets, and a moment when everything almost changed. It shows up in movies like V for Vendetta. Huh. Rebellion, corruption, government secrets, and a moment when everything almost changed. So if you have a lighter and you do the little flicky thing, that was a flick, but the light never went on. This is about to be a flick and the light goes on. Can you give me the full, what did you say it was, poem? Full rhyme. Rhyme. Can you give me the rhyme? No, I want the full thing, please. My trash can's blowing away. Guess that's a problem for the version of me that exists when I'm done this reading. Remember the 5th of November, gunpowder, treason, and plot. Oh dear. I see no reason why gunpowder treason should ever be fought. I see no reason why war should ever be fought. When they say Peace and safety, sudden destruction cometh. I see no reason. Guy Fawkes and his companions did the scheme contrive to blow the king and parliament all up alive. Huh. 70 barrels of powder below to prove old England's overthrow. But by God's providence, he was catched with a dark lantern and a burning match. Oh, the witch hunt on Trump. Holla a boys, let the bells ring. Holla a boys, God save the king. And but what shall we do with him? Burn him. Huh. They're about to fall their fall guy. And before how do I even, if there is a false version of, if there's an illusion playing out and that illusion is trying to replicate the Bible, I'm gonna end this video by adding in the video that I posted yesterday about my predictions and the voice clip explaining what I believe is going on. A lot of people did not like this voice clip. Their predictions. Predictions don't really care about feelings. So I understand. I get it if you don't like the ending of this. And if you don't like what I'm about to say here, I get it. But I'm not going to stop. So I think I'm going to end this like that because I think that that's what this is wrapping back around to. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Please remember, all of this is alleged, my opinion, not facts. Thank you for watching. Welcome back to news predictions for the United States of Embarrassment. We're making a news prediction that will happen within the next 48 hours. I'm changing it from 24 to 48. I just like that better. Okay, so even, odd. 6, even. How many cards? 1 card. Okay, I'm gonna at least need one clarifier here. So 1 main card for the actual prediction itself. Faked death, new life in reverse, a real death. I did a news in reverse reading on my YouTube. I think I posted it 2 days ago, where I drew something where I said it's like there's 2 sides that need to have a meeting, but they need to take out the 2 people in the middle that could jeopardize said meeting. So one of the people is getting taken out credibility wise by a document dump, and the other one is getting taken out all the way. But I'm not sure if that one that gets taken out all the way is being protected to testify behind the scenes or something along those lines, or if it's an actual we gotcha. But is that the real death that's going to be occurring within the next 48 hours. Confirm. Neighborhood will all see it. Can I have any clue about the person it involves? It's that person in my, it's the person from my drawing. Let me find my drawing. I can't find the actual drawing, but I'm gonna put a picture of it here. So essentially, and you can go on my YouTube and watch the news in reverse. I said side 1, the side with 1, 2, and 3 on it, their role, they're playing a game where they need to win by having a lower number. And that lower number is accountability. They win on that side by having less accountability. And then the side with 7, that side, the arrow is going up because that side is playing a different game entirely. That side is trying to collect secrets. Now, I said the 3, 2, 1, the 2 and the 3 are like middlemen. Each side has something on these middlemen. One of them can be discredited in a document dump. The other one can't, because they have something significant back on both or at least on the end of the 1. So the 1 can't trust that number 2 won't do damage in some way to them. So they need to be all the way gone so that 1 and 7 can go into some kind of pact. Now 7 is 7 and not 6, because 3, 2, 1 would be 6 if you add them together. But I put 7 because they have one extra advantage. The extra advantage is that 3, 2, 1, they can all get down to 1, but it can never be 0. And once that side realizes they're not even playing the same game as that side, and they realize you don't win by having a lower number, you win by having a higher number, because that gives you leverage, whereas you can have any amount of accountability, but it can't ever be 0, because that side always has something on them that can't be taken away. So they're always at a disadvantage, especially when they realize they were playing the wrong game and they have to catch up to the other side. I said that number 1, that side, the one that represents 1 is the current administration in the US, and side with the 7 is a out of US force. So the one that can't be taken out by a document dump is about to be taken out. Allegedly. Okay. Me and my friend Erin have a prediction correction to my previous prediction and news in reverse. I'm gonna insert our voice clip, and then I'm gonna roll the die, choose the deck and the amount of cards, and see what comes out. I think I just put a major piece of the puzzle together. When you listen to that reading and how I described number 1, 2, 3, and then 7, I thought 1 was Trump. I think 1 is Obama. And Trump is either the one that gets taken out in the document dump, or he's the one that gets taken out. But I think, I thought Trump and the outside force. I think Trump is one of the middlemen. I think I was looking at that piece wrong. Number 1 is Obama. Oh my gosh.
It is. You're right. It's Obama. He laid the foundation. Yes, you are correct. You are correct. And when I say this, like, Trump's the fall guy. So when I say this, like, the energy in which his character embodies, right? It's that of, think back to our meeting and the map. That's the energy. That's the energy that has to fall, right? Because our government has been doing what it's been doing to us. He's the fall guy, but it was Obama.
Okay, even, odd. Odd. 3 cards. It was 3 and 3. Red flag, warning. War. Celebrity in reverse. One main player goes down and they use it to kick off a war. You just figured it out. When they were about to hang Jesus on the cross, the entire crowd was screaming, "Crucify him, crucify him." What would be equivalent to that? Everyone, the youth, the children, over and over, nonstop, chanting the exact number of votes it takes. That's not a coincidence. And am I saying Trump is Jesus? Absolutely not. I'm saying he's trying to put himself in the illusion of that so that the person who's behind the scenes that's about to play God, or at least try to, can step forward, aka the Antichrist.
You know what's coming. You know what they're planning. Literally. The fall of church and state. They laid the groundwork already. They tested people through that to see how they would react.
Put out a poetry book during Trump's first presidency, and a lot of people were very mad at me for it because I was writing it from a place of predictions that are playing out now. So I'm going to read you some pieces from this book. 2021. It is out of publication right now, but this was the original version of my book, The Blueprint. It is a poetry book that I set up to look like a musical. In the back, I have a section titled Outro, again, because it's made to look like a musical, and this is where you will find the ones that I'm talking about now. Writer's block had me for a minute, but it's time that now I'm back. I can't be the only one to realize our democracy is under attack. None of this is meant to change you, it's here to show you who you are. Do you fight back or stay silent while police bulldoze protesters with their car? Ushering out hate like an oil spill, distracting us from what's really going on at Capitol Hill. Do you really believe that those who failed us will turn it around? We would have better luck electing Twisty the Clown. When those in charge wear greed like a pin on their suits, and every law that they sign seems to bring us further away from our roots. Is it even still legal to have an opinion? With an opened mind, please listen to mine about the country we live in. Land of the brave and home of the free has turned into quite the sight to see. Violence in cities incited so no one will notice the attack on each citizen, delivered by POTUS. Don't forget his minions that are yes men to the grave, and that's probably good since they will also not be saved. What good could ever come of instilling in us mountains of fear? They talk about terrorists like there aren't ones representing us here. Slavery revamped and was given a new name. We now call them inmates, and it's not limited to race. Whenever it was that the few decided they were more important than the many, was the day they started skimping from their own people while leaving themselves plenty. We stopped wanting better for each other, started expecting the worst. Continuing down this path will only prolong us feeling cursed. Those with half a brain know they can't profit from peace. That's why any hope of that they are causing to cease. If we remain scared of each other instead of coming together, the storm that they're serving, we won't be able to weather. Please, someone help me restore common sense. The stories they tell are so over the fence. If it's too hard for you to see that our ships began to sink, just hang tight, you'll notice very soon as your rights begin to shrink. Trust me when I tell you I'm unfazed by being disliked. I'm not here to gain exposure, but you didn't just drop the ball, it was spiked. Working for the people while going against the will of the majority, they'd rather let the country burn than admit weakness in their authority. Starting a battle between two organized parties is literally the definition of a civil war. Do not be surprised when someday real soon, the scenes from the TV play outside your door. And you'll question yourself, how didn't I ever see this coming before? The old life that you complained about, you'll soon look back on and adore. Because the way that things used to be, they will be no more. How many more warnings must you miss while it plays out right on the stage? Those roles of power and protection were bought with fright and rage. I won't give them any more of me, I'd like to keep the rest. If you sell them all your time, you leave no room for the quest. Learning to live in a world with none isn't disruptive, it's the test. If you haven't been woken up by love, the other force is fear. There's got to be something to shake things up and remind us why we're here. I refuse to sit there quietly to appease them and cohere. I've looked both ways and seen the dangers till I cross in higher gears. Battling evil with more of the same, basing beliefs off of those who acclaim that they're free. Each one tossing the ball of blame to the other side. But when you lie on live TV, there's only so long you can hide. Can you even still decipher who's on which side of the team? Every time they open mouths, it's their deceit that takes the lead. Which one of the amendments will they try to change today? Another step closer to taking rights away. They give little to the many as the wealthy hoard the rest. Most of the population can't afford to be their best. Crime is high and jails are full, group homes overcrowded still. The problem isn't all of us. It's greed from Capitol Hill. Claiming we're a risk to public safety as we're fighting for our rights, as they amp up the dramatics, causing all of us to fight. There's nowhere in this system where the ill-fated stand a chance. They're using us as stepping stones all the while they advance. We're cornered in their trap. Now we watch and sit and pray as they pick us one by one and throw us all away. They've gotten from us all they wanted, studied all our DNA. Now they're hoping, silent little sheep, we all continue to stay. We have a chance to demand change, but it's gotta be today. We're gonna have to remind them we won't consent to being prey. We must be consumed wholly in darkness to be forced to focus on the light. Getting away with abuse of power when it's right in the line of sight is something that can no longer happen. But we're silenced when fighting for our rights. Too many people just following orders. They will tell you the same as they take your sons and your daughters. How did we arrive here at wherever it is we are? The laws that claim we're equals have been quite a joke thus far. Switch on the news for just 5 minutes and tell me where our morals are. It's evident that racism is more than just an ugly scar. How can we ever live in peace when we don't play by the same rules? The 13th Amendment really fixing that is a belief amongst the fools. The disadvantage of skin color has been one of the biggest tools, allowing those with privileges to twist and bend the rules. All of this causing oppression, deceit, and disgraceful disrespect. If you're claiming we're all equal, I sincerely have to object. There's a storm brewing in the distance, on its way to bring our attention to humanity's resistance. As our earth tries to prove we need each other's assistance, if we plan on staying any longer to continue our existence. Tornado winds spun up faster than the stories we've been told. As the skies explode with lightning, bright enough to show we're sold. Wiping out the futures as we flood the world with tears, as we wonder how this hurricane was built up through the years. Thunder rolling in from miles across the sky, everyone watching, breath held on standby. There is an event unfolding. Better grab your suit and tie. Without looking super wealthy, they'll leave you out to die. Either hand over your dignity or be jailed when you defy. If you have someone to say it to, better whisper your goodbye. I gotta do this quick, but this is an acrostic poem, so going down, the first letter spells no justice, no peace. Now, where can we go from here with our issues out in the open? The justice system is completely useless when so broken. Systematic slavery of those whose names often go unspoken is proof we need to change course from the one that's been previously chosen. Eons of advancement in technology, none in basic human emotion. We have those who view the ability to oppress as a deranged human promotion. People deprived of the rights of which our Constitution is woven, even though all the media can focus on is property that's been stolen. Allowing the country to burn because some politicians' egos are swollen, this can only lead to chaos from a people whose advancement has been frozen. By those who think that they rule the earth, it's none of our jobs to determine each other's worth. This is another poem from my poetry book that I published back during Trump's first presidency that people were angry at me for because it's written based off of predictions that are playing out right now. This one is the final act. This is a book that was made to look like a musical. We've been heading towards a wall that is yet to fall apart. Shattered all around, we can then rebuild ourselves as art. Hitting that dead end provides us a chance to change. We get to face our ugly to see that things can't stay the same. It's time for us to stop looking for someone else to blame. We talk about hell like it's somewhere else, not realizing our front row view. They will crucify us if given our trust, replacing the nail with a screw. They create the theatrics to throw us off track from seeing what's clearly in front of our eyes, so that when they finally wage war, we can know at our core, it shouldn't come as a surprise. Please tell me how we got here, to this point of no return. History books and Bibles, yet we just refused to learn. We have the information that could save us from ourselves. Yet we all run around adding to each other's hell. The more negativity you produce, the more that you'll receive. Nobody gets off easy for making others grieve. You can't unlight a fire, but it sure can be contained. You can drown in blood or water and be equally as pained. We are meant to come together, not maliciously kept apart. We had literature from the very first days on what to do when this should start. Beauty comes from rebuilding, and bombs pour bowls of blood. He did say, like days of Noah, but he also said, no flood. No matter the plans we may make for our lives, there are always parts subject to change. We reconstruct after breaking. Pieces fall away to be rearranged. We can't become who we're meant to be until our ghost is fully exchanged. Turns out here, freedom isn't free. They may be speaking of your body, but you've got to free your mind. A maze between your ears, designed to grow you through your fears, preps you to accept the love you've been missing all these years. We were always meant to break. We were always meant to bend, pick up all the pieces and help each other mend. We'd leave a little of our soul with everyone we meet. We were never meant to split and be left as incomplete. We get so worried about what's to come that we ruin what's here right now, allowing the media to make skin color a weapon which in no way should we allow. We act like we singly have something to prove. Well, congrats, well done, take a bow. There's no turning back from the fate we create. Heaven and hell are both satisfied now. This is another poem from my book that I wrote during Trump's first presidency that people were not happy about because it's written off of predictions that are now taking place. This is one of the poems from the more personal section. This is the beginning of the book. Act 1, to be specific, but since I just showed the final act, I need to show where we're starting from. I just don't want to forget this night, don't want my brain to erase this feeling. Sobbing in my bed completely broken with all these demons I'll never start healing. Every step to get here has been an uphill climb. Rising higher than the clouds, but it still just ain't my time. The longing for something that I cannot describe is why the racing in my mind will likely never subside. Questioning if it's something I said because it usually is each time. After all my good intentions, emotions feeling like a crime. We're hiding who we are. Tell me how to get like this. All may be fair in love and war, but even Judas betrayed with a kiss. I'm grabbing the mic. Tonight is the night that I'm poised to explain to you briefly. Everyone struggles, we all go through pain, but some hide distress more discreetly. The bumps in the road unmask the karma we're owed until we rupture, then rebuild completely. Maybe there's a part of me that knew to self-destruct on cue. 2 years ago, I didn't know half of what I now do. There's still a hope alive in me that wishes that you knew. The mountains I have moved to earn myself this view. And from where I'm standing, I don't see one option that makes sense. Maybe they're right and all of this is just inside my head. Been clawing at the walls trying to escape. Drawing lines in the sand marked with blood-red tape. The lights turning yellow on my night drive back home. Should I speed forward or gaze back to see how far I have come? We can have a vision for our lives for how we think they'll be. But soon you will discover it's the heart that really leads. We think we are in charge, and in a way we are. But once you've felt love's strength, there's no lowering that bar. Gold is not what makes you rich, neither do the mansions. A house will never feel like home if you don't take any chances. Let your heart find solace. Find your roots and grow your branches. We are the art, and earth, it is the canvas. Fragile pieces of myself chip off and rearrange. The hardest of my moments assured I couldn't stay the same. Growth is produced by changes and often birthed through pain. But it turns out not a single tear will reach the ground in vain. There were moments I disconnected from the world and from myself. I took every memory that held me back and bid that pain farewell. With me I'll take the lessons earned and kept within my shell. Chose not to let the fear control me. Instead, experience served me well. The world outside distracts you from the universe within. Faith means believing in the unseen love that feels impossible in the world we live. Too many with their hands held out, not enough willing to give. Love and pain feel no different, regardless of what country you live. We found many ways to judge each other, by money, by looks, and by pain, as if your financial or social status affects the value of the blood flowing through your veins. Addiction, the devil's disguised love, instant gratifications right now. In a world that tries so hard to make you numb, it gets harder to see how it'd get better anyhow. I see faces glued to phones all day, but if you look up, you'll actually see. You'll find yourself when you lose the standards of who they tell us we should be. We're taught to fear our neighbor based off of skin and gossip. So we never open up our hearts. We've been so programmed now to block them. Fear and love aren't enemies because love truly understands that sometimes all we can do is get through the day, making the best play out of the cards in our hands. Suffering here seems to bring shame, yet through my afflictions I uncovered my depth. Add up each bruise that resulted from all of my choices, I still have not one single regret. I agree that all the world's a stage and we are merely the actors. But instead of allowing the show to play, we're marionettes being pulled swiftly backwards, controlled by an invisible hand that the eye cannot plainly see. We don't have to accept when we're told that this is how the world must be. There are examples everywhere of how we're supposed to be. Bees pollinate flowers with love, yet fend off humans defensively. We will reap all that we've sown and pay the cost expensively. Because who are we to decide who belongs and who does not? We leave people in places worse off than we found them, then claim it's peace and equality that's sought. Love is the only treasure that cannot be sold or bought, yet we throw away each other often without second thought. In the beginning, there was life and nature, and since then, we've never needed more. We were supposed to build with each other, not construct walls that lead to war. Does anyone really still comprehend what all of this fighting is even for? Anyone? You don't, do you?